behavior or culture. No, what's the right word? Sorry, custom's probably the right word. In terms of custom, I'm probably more Chinese.
Sure.
Because that's more from my parents. The custom comes from whatever surrounds you. And my
Everyday
parents,
life, really.
yes,
Yeah.
my parents are with me all the time. So
Okay.
that's what it is. But I feel like my thinking is more westernized because school.
The school education
School
system.
education.
Yeah.
So I am a lot more liberal in my thinking.
Sure.
A lot, and the way how I work or do things or arrange my thoughts and reason and rationalize is more Western.
Sure.
The structure is different or backward compared to a Chinese.
That's right. But your day-to-day life, because you're engaged with a family is a traditional Chinese your culture and thinking and the language as well.
Correct.
So yeah, so you kind of experiencing two culture.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes.
So it's either domestically or in a society.
Yes.
So Sienna will be exactly the same, and kind of your differential words because Sienna was born here. Well, so from day one, so Sienna will be experiencing the Western culture and the language. So what's your thoughts on Sienna's early childhood learning? So are you willing to keep the origin Chinese culture at all?
Definitely. I want her to have or be exposed to as many different cultures as possible.
Okay.
Not just Chinese. Chinese is her heritage because you look at her DNA, she's Chinese, right? So that is who you are. That is your root. So Chinese definitely. But part of her will definitely be Kiwi. She was born here, she was raised here, and from me she will learn all things Kiwi. But on the other side, her father is American Chinese. So
Sure.
she will have the American aspect in her. But beyond that, the reason why we call her Siena is a beautiful little town in Italy.
Italy, yeah.
And both my husband and I love that place. So we would like to one day, when we retire, have enough money, go live in Siena in Italy. So that's why I want her to, we named her Siena because we want her to be exposed to different languages. I want her to speak 4 languages, hopefully. And I've been asking my husband if it's possible to get a job in Switzerland because there's exposure to so many different languages. We would like to live in Switzerland.
Exactly.
So for her, English is a definite, Chinese is a definite. We're hoping to get Spanish in her because the American system, especially because my husband's from California, Spanish is very popular, very widespread.
Spanish,
So hopefully she can speak Spanish. We hope she can get some Italian in there too.
Italian there too. Yeah. Oh wow, Jesus, wow. She's gonna be very busy.
That's the thing. That's why I think early childhood education is important because you're not really learning. You are learning. You're not really, doing homework. You're just playing, and through play you learn, and it's so easy. Like for me, English came a lot more easier than my parents did. My father, he's over 60 now. He studies English every single day.
Right.
He writes things, and he has friends that he calls up to chat, but he makes progress, but very slowly.
That's right.
But for someone who is, maybe from 2 years old onwards when they start speaking, if I could move to somewhere like Switzerland and have, an education system and a social environment that just naturally is like that, then why not?
So learning languages is not actually learning. Just like we are learning Maori, just from the custom, so we call it Yachikanga, and also from the view of the world as well, how you experience and perceive the world.
Yes.
So it's all part of the learning of the language or the culture. So this is very interesting. So in the situation you're experiencing the two language and the two cultures, and how you balancing the two culture, so it is a more or less, and we try to balance them out. But somehow, if the value got a conflict, how you gotta sort the thing out?
You mean for myself or for Sienna in the future?
So it can be both. More for Sienna.
More for Sienna. That is a really tough one. I mean, I struggle with it myself.
Sure.
All the time.
East and Western, all the time.
All the time. Internally, because sometimes when I'm thinking about something, an internal struggle. Also externally, especially with my parents, because they're still very much Chinese, even though they live here now. I mean, they understand where I'm coming from, but they don't agree.
No, that's right. Absolutely.
Sometimes they don't understand, actually.
No.
So I really don't know what I can do. I just hope communication. Is the best way.
Yes.
That constant dialogue between parent and child will hopefully help you understand them more as an individual, as opposed to making it a cultural problem.
Yeah, so same as my mom and myself, sometimes the value proposition for a particular thing can be absolutely, totally different.
Yeah.
But I think it is important to let kids, the next generation, to understand. So there are cultural differences, and learn to accept it, and at least they have the awareness on that. Yeah. And this is a part of the in the multiculturalism society. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, and another thing is the early childhood, because the mainstream in New Zealand early childhood is the Pakeha, which is the European Kiwi, and the Maori, the local people, the Aboriginal. So, and for the Chinese immigrants is even harder, because the Maori culture, Pakeha culture, and for the kids born here, what's your view on that? Because the Maori culture is going to be part of the curriculum anyway, from 18 months all the way to university.
I love learning Maori at school. Mm-hmm. For example, the school songs that it comes in Māori, I still know how to sing those songs. Exactly. And I feel quite cool when I'm out about in the world, out of New Zealand at least, talking to people, and I throw in a few I don't speak Māori, but I throw in a few words, and they're like,
you
whoa!
What does that mean?
Yeah, you're so
Māori.
Cool. And I'm like,
exactly.
I speak Māori.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love it.
Yeah.
And because I did law, so, Māori, the treaty is a big part of the curriculum.
Correct.
in my studies.
Yes.
Also part of property law.
Law is a very important emphasis on the treaty of the Waitangi.
Yes. So I've always done quite well for the Māori section.
Sure.
And I always sort of tend to gravitate towards, whenever there is some, discussion about it, I tend to gravitate towards it in the curriculum as well. And, learning about kāwangatanga, rangatiratanga, and, all those things. And yeah, I like it. And so that's why I want her to be born here, because my husband is still in Beijing.
Sure.
And because I want her to have some of that Kiwi-ness in her.
Sure. What was the early childhoods, because the teachers coming in on a regular basis, and it's a little bit the curriculum, and with the short period of time, just a few months, experiencing the curriculum, and because you were teaching in China for the curriculum as well. So what do you see the differences, the crucial differences between the Origin Chinese and the Kiwi curriculum for the early childhood for the baby?
I don't know enough to give to give you a proper answer, but
it's a good start.
It's based on my slightly biased, limited views. Let me caveat that first. I feel that the Western teaching, New Zealand or elsewhere, is a lot more hands-on.
Hands-on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a lot more development of a skill as opposed to a particular thing. I think in China the focus is on, for example, math. Yeah. You need to calculate, like, very methodical, and there's a formula to everything, and you learn those things. Whereas here they kind of teach you the general idea of things, and for you to discover how to do that 1 + 1.
That's right.
And learning a formula isn't as important anymore,
No.
And But what I like most about Western education is that it challenges you all the time.
Sure.
I actually struggled with that because although I grew up here, my parents gave me different concepts of how to learn.
Sure.